This is Calm AF, a podcast for humans who are hard on themselves. A podcast for the overthinkers, people pleasers, perfectionists, and overachievers. I'm Kristen Finch, and I'm going to teach you how to quiet that incessant negative chatter in your head. Because you know what a person with a calm mind can do? Anything they want. Grab your coffee, gorgeous soul, because today's the day you get Calm AF. Hello, gorgeous soul. Welcome to Calm AF. I hope that you're having a great day, and I hope that you are really taking care of yourself right now. Really. Because we are in it. We are in that weird stretch of time, the holiday season, that time between Thanksgiving and New Year's, where, time feels like it's warp speed. You've got double the amount of things on your plate you normally do, and then something changes and time slows down, or it's not real anymore. That like from Christmas to New Year's stretch where you're like, what day is it? Has it been 3 days? Has it been 30 minutes? I have no idea. You know what I'm talking about? That weird Twilight Zone chunk of time. Either way, both the warp speed and the what is happening speed, it can be a tricky time of year because, like I said, there is a lot extra going on right now. So I hope that you are really taking care of yourself. And I hope what that looks like is that you are using, if you listen to this podcast, I hope you're using the tools. I hope you are taking the things that I talk about and you are implementing them into your real life, because this shit really works if you use the tools. And the reason why I am telling you this is, so I don't know if it was last week or the week before, whatever the week after Thanksgiving was. So I took Thanksgiving break off, and then we get started the next week. I'm seeing my clients. I have all my groups for Calm AF Life. And the way I always start sessions most of the time is we share what's working, right? What is going well? What do you have to celebrate? What are the little tiny wins that you've had, or big wins, whatever it is, in the past week that you can share? Because, and I've probably said this here a million times, it is really useful information if you know that there are things that are working, and you can take them and expand on them instead of trying to find everything that's not working and fix everything. Like, take what's working and let's see how we can expand that so that it works in all sorts of different ways. So that's what we did. And when I tell you, I thought my heart would explode from joy that week, where it was like just client after client, every group, like someone or most of the people shared their wins of this Thanksgiving was different than any other Thanksgiving I can remember. It was better. And it's because these people who I'm working with are very consistently, or I should say relentless, they are relentlessly committed to becoming Calm AF. They are showing up every day. They're doing it in tiny ways. We do not hustle. We are not hard on ourselves in this group or with my clients, but they are taking the information and they are using it every week because it's working. So let me give you a couple examples, because I think it's so powerful to know this is what they were thinking. So I'm going to use pretend names. We're going to keep it anonymous. So we'll start with Jane. Jane, she comes to the call and she, unmutes on the group and says, my Thanksgiving was so different. It was better than any Thanksgiving I can remember. And the thing that she noticed was it wasn't because anything else changed. So her kind of sticky point is her mom. So her mom tends to just really dig at her and kind of like just say nasty things in order to get a rise. And then they engage and they fight. Like that's what they do, right? Like she says something nasty and then Jane, says, why do you have to say that to me? Why are you so mean? Like, or she says it in her head. It's not fun, right? It's just what they do. And so she goes, it's the same mom that she's always had. And she was like, it was like I was zoomed out and I was watching it happen. My mom was like hurling things at me, hurling these nasty comments or, trying to get a rise out of me. And I was able to just observe it and stay separate from it, like not take it on. So she threw it at me. I didn't take it into my energy space. I didn't let it affect me in the way that it has every other year of my life. I was able to still be with my mom, but not let her behavior ruin my Thanksgiving or let it be something, right? She was saying what normally would have happened is we would have gotten into a fight or I would have tried to white knuckle my way into like not fighting back. But then I would have, talked about it for the next 3 weeks and been mad about it. And why can't my mom just be nice to me? And why can't she just get help? And why does she's like, I didn't do any of that. I went to Thanksgiving and I actually enjoyed myself. I didn't enjoy my mom, treating me that way, but I enjoyed myself at Thanksgiving because I wasn't taking it on as my own anymore. And another example, we'll say, why can't I think of any other name besides Jane? Joan. My brain won't come up with names. Joan, she has a family member who every time they get together, especially on holidays, talks about her weight, makes comments about her clothes, makes comments about the food that she's eating. Oh, are you coming back for seconds? Like shit like that, where that this woman is doing it. She wouldn't say, she'd just be like, oh, I just asked an innocent question. No, you didn't. You asked it for a very specific reason, and we all know it. So Joan was like, I had such a great Thanksgiving this year, and nothing is different. It was still my same aunt. I still have the same body. I still ate the same food, but I didn't feel shame. Like she tried to make me feel bad. And I just said, no, thank you. Like, I am not going there. If you want to feel miserable, but you don't get to hand it to me. Or if you try, I am not going to take it. And she's like, I had what I wanted to eat. She's like, I wasn't overthinking it. She's like, yep, I went back for seconds. I didn't try and hide it from my aunt. I ate the pie that I wanted. It's Thanksgiving. That's what I'm going to do. And I didn't feel bad about it. I didn't care if she said anything because I knew it was about her, not about me. And so I also, made sure that I was taking care of my nervous system. I was doing all the things of, regulating ahead of time and really preparing myself and going in there with anchor thoughts. I was doing all of the things, and my Thanksgiving was so much better. And I had so much more fun and enjoyed myself so much more than I ever have before. And then there was another client, I'm not even going to try and think of a name, but hers was her husband, right? Like her husband just sulks, like he doesn't want to be there and everybody knows it. And she usually in the past has worked so hard to like try and make it great for him so that, oh, he's engaging with this person. He's not just sitting on a couch and on his phone. She was like, I just didn't. I just decided he can have the Thanksgiving experience he wants. And if my family is judging him, okay. If they're judging me because of him, okay. I can't control that. Even if my husband was like doing a song and dance, right, to entertain, and he was just like the life of the party, even if that, I still can't control what they're thinking. So I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop trying to think. And she was like, it was the best Thanksgiving ever. And her husband did sit on the couch on his phone. But when she wasn't making it a problem for her to fix or you know, obsessing over what is everybody thinking about him and why can't he just say hi? My uncle tried to start a conversation with him. Why can't he just, she's like, I just didn't do it. When my brain tried to do it, I was like, no, we're not doing that anymore. That's not who we are. We don't do that anymore. And she was like, I got to connect with my family in a way that I haven't since I was a kid, because I wasn't all up in my head or all up in my husband's business or everybody else's business. Like, I was just able to be present. And she was like, it was the most joyful celebration and time for me to connect that I can remember since I was a kid. So obviously, like, huge. And those are just 3 examples. Like, I could go on and on and on, because when I tell you, out of like the, I don't know, 70 plus people that I talked to last week, that the majority of them were also being like, oh, me too. My Thanksgiving was, and it's not dramatically different, right? Like, nothing, the circumstances are pretty much the same, but that shift, like, I felt better. And one of the, obviously the reason why my heart is bursting is because, like, yes, you're doing it, right? Like, you see that this thing that you've been struggling with forever is really under your control more than it's under someone else's control. Like, instead of trying to control everybody else's moods and feelings and what they say and what they don't say, I'm just going to go ahead and let myself take care of myself, make sure I'm regulated, I'm taken care of, and that's enough. So there's that. But also, my favorite part is, this isn't just this change that they have this Thanksgiving. Because they have done the work, because every week they show up and they take the information that they're learning, whether it's, you know, the podcast, which really is very complimentary. It's, a lot of these episodes are very supplementary. Is that the right word? For the coaching that I give. But they take what they learn in my courses, whatever, and they practice it. And then at some point they start embodying it. And that's what's happening, right? They are going out into the real world with the things that trigger them the most, their mom, their aunt, their husband, whatever. And they are able to access the tools and use them. And it's because they are showing up and they are practicing these tools. So not only did they get to enjoy this Thanksgiving was different. Every single Thanksgiving they have from here on out, they get to experience that again. Every birthday party, every family vacation, every, you know, whatever the tool they're using, whatever tools they're using and whatever they're using it on, their relationships, hard conversations, setting boundaries, all of these things, once they have practiced and they start putting them into a place, now they get to keep them forever. So Jane will be able to be in a room with her mom and not have to recover for the next 3 weeks ever again. And Joan, I think, whatever I used as her name, will be able to have these experiences with her aunt, and the other one will be able to, you know, enjoy her family gatherings without having to think about it for 3 weeks ahead of time and then 3 weeks after wondering what everybody thought ever again. So when people come to me and I, you know, teach them something, it works. It works forever, not just for this little chunk of time that we're working together. Like, no, your Thanksgivings, your family vacations, all of it will be better for the rest of your life because you are practicing and using the tools. And I just think, like, sometimes my mind is blown. Like, I know this shit works, but when things like this happen, and it's not about the dramatic things, it's about these things that feel like not that big a deal, but also very big deals. This is the part that I think is so important, that when you take what I teach you, whether it's you're working with me, you're in my program, or you listen to this podcast, if you take the things that I'm sharing with you, these tools, and you practice them, you put them into play, you put them into your life, you use them over and over and over on purpose, it works. If you take in the information and you just know it, like, yeah, I know all about energy managing. Yeah, I know what I'm supposed to do if I'm feeling stressed out and I just feel like I have to hustle. I know what to do, but I don't do it. Or, yeah, I know how to set boundaries, but I don't do it. Yeah, I know what my mom says, those nasty things my mom says is about her, not about me. And I know what I should be doing, but I don't do it, right? You can't just hold these tools. I want you to think about it as like hoarding the tools so that like, yeah, I know all of it. Give me a quiz, but like ask me to put it into play and I can't do it. So it works, but you gotta use it. You gotta practice it. So let me just give you a recommendation, okay? If you are one of my clients, like we're already doing it, it's fine. If you are not, here's what you can do. Instead of just knowing this information, you could take each week, listen to the episode, pick any week. You've got 270 some episodes to pick from. Pick one, anyone. Sit down with it and treat it like your own coaching session. If you've been listening for a while, you know how I work. You know what I talk about. You know what I say. Probably know. Oh, Kristen would say. So do it then. Sit down with it and decide, what are my takeaways here? What's one tiny thing that I can take from this episode and put it into play in my life? If I want to stop energy managing, and she's talking about, well, if you want to stop doing that, you got to start feeling the uncomfortable feelings. Okay, so I'm going to pick one uncomfortable feeling, and every day I'm going to see how it feels in my body so that it doesn't feel as scary later. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to do that every week because that's what she said in the podcast. And next week, I'm going to take another thing. I'm going to do one thing. Or I'm going to take the thing from last week and I'm going to keep doing it because here's what's working. I can just expand on that, can take this one feeling and I'm going to add another feeling. It doesn't matter, but don't use this as knowledge, right? Don't hoard the knowledge. Use it. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point of listening to this if you know it, but you don't use it? Use it. Just do it. Because this shit works like, you can't see me. I'm doing chef's kiss. It works. It works if you use it. Okay, that was it was just an exciting thing. I was, again, like my heart could have burst by hearing one person after the other about how like, oh, it's not dramatic. It's not because my mom stopped saying nasty things to me. It's because I learned and practiced how to stay calm AF even when my mom is doing that. So you got all the tools. You got so much content to pick from with just this podcast. Just use it. All right. That's it. I love you so much. I hope that you take this information, especially now in this twilight zone stretch of time we're in, and you use it. Don't wait until January. Use it now. Decide now. How are you going to implement? Pick one thing, implement it. All right. I love you so much. I will see you next time. Thanks for listening. And before you go, one more thing. So as you know, I am slightly obsessed with helping as many humans tap into their calm AFness as possible. So if this podcast has helped you, would you please leave a review, make sure you're subscribed, and share it with your friends. Also, make sure you head on over to kristenfinch.com to see how you can work with me. You can sign up for my emails and get any other goodies I have available. Until next week, I love you so much. I am so grateful that you're here. I'll see you next time.